Well, that's a little personal. What? Disgusting. Why must every fairy book do this? Why?
I don't know. Do I kind of like this? Like, a lot? I don't know.
Hello, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Hannah. I'm the Moody Reader, and I've been on kind of a hunt for a romantasy book that I don't hate with my whole heart and soul. And this was kind of, it jumped off of this video I made from last month talking about The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which was a travesty, a blight on society. And then this kind of took off because somebody sent me a comment. Thank you to that commenter, love. They sent a comment saying basically that they feel me. They're like, there's some bad stuff out there, but there's some good stuff too. And they sent me a list of books that they actually enjoyed. And even though Fourth Wing is on that list, I'm gonna let it slide because they put These Hollow Vows in the list. And I said, is it free? I checked Kindle Unlimited. It is free, it's there. So I said, let's get it on and pop and let's read it. So I knew absolutely nothing about this. I didn't even really know who it was by. I just kind of like looked at the cover, clicked add to my library. But it's These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. And when I first started it, I, like I said, had no idea what it was about. Only that it was A Court of Thorns and Roses plus The Cruel Prince. And if you know me, you know that I loved the Cruel Prince trilogy. Loved. I love anything that has to do with like Seelie, unseelie courts. So say less and I will be yours forever. And back in the day, I did, unfortunately, really enjoy ACOTAR, but I've grown and I don't think I would like it as much anymore, but I'm willing to admit that I had a fun time. And so that brings us to today, where we're just going to be reading and joking around with These Hollow Vows, which I believe is a duology. Now that I know a little bit more, I know it is like a love triangle kind of a thing, and I love a love triangle, unabashedly. And I can tell you now, this video will not be a rant, because I might like it. But I don't want to spoil you for the video, so just keep watching and subscribe. So let's get into it. So because I didn't know what this was going in, I did a piss poor job of explaining what I was reading. So I'm just gonna tell you like what it's about. So this is about Abriella, which we have to deduct points for the name. I'm sorry. To anyone whose name is Abriella, I don't personally love it. Sorry. But this is about Abriella, who goes by Bree, so we're gonna call her Bree. And she hates the Fae with all of her heart and soul. And she is a thief. She's like the best thief in wherever we are. Where are we actually? I think we're in Elora. And she starts out this book stealing from this guy who is like a known seller of people, like in all the ways and forms. And after stealing from this man, she then gives away the money because she's stealing to get money to pay her rent. And then she gives away her rent money to her friend Nick and Nick's daughter, because Nick's daughter needed money, so she sells herself. Like, people are selling themselves left and right. So she gives away the money, and then she's short with her aunt, Madame Vivia. I think I say Vivian in this video because I just thought Aunt Viv from Fresh Prince. I don't know why. That's where my mind automatically went. So yeah, but that's the preamble to this video. So throwing it back to you. All right, chapter 1. We've already got a good start. Cool shadows wash over my sweaty skin, welcoming me, disguising me. I could revel in the darkness, happily lie under the stars and let the night air unravel my knotted, overworked muscles. But I won't waste tonight on rest or fleeting pleasure. These are the hours of spies and thieves. They're my hours. Love. I want to be entertained. That is what I want. What the heck is a star worm? I really want to know. Girl, if you're gonna go on a heist of some sort, I don't know what we're looking for, but a heist of some sort, you have to bring a Gatorade, some electrolytes, honey, a Pedialyte. Okay, if I were actually on some kind of a heist, I would need to bring hydration because if I don't have like 80 ounces a day, I complain that I'm dying faster than anyone else. Oop. That's a good rule. Add that rule to the list. Do not work for those who try to blackmail you into prostitution. I can't be the only one who thought, because Abriella says, "Shh, it's just me, baby," to her friend Nick's daughter, who, there's our token black people, woo. I can't be the only one who thought, this is a child, like 3 or 4. But apparently not. She got money from Gorst to buy her mom medicine from the healer. Yeah, not a child. So how old are they? I need to know. How old? Uncle Devlin died. Who's Uncle Devlin? I feel like I jumped into the book having missed like a prologue, but I didn't. There's no prologue. Is there a prologue? Wait, let me see. Give me a second. Nope, there is no prologue. This is chapter 1. I am so confused as to who these people are. Maybe I should have looked up the description. Finally, we get some information. So she's 17, but she's magically bound to a contract that will, at this rate, keep her bound in Madame Vivian's debt for the rest of her life. Signed into servitude 9 years ago. Okay. Uncle Devlin had just died, and Mom had abandoned us. Okay, thank you. Now I kind of know what's happening. Ugh, 2 of the worst words ever. Compound interest. Hate it. Hate. Okay, so we've had our little baby info dump, and basically it says that in this world, her people used to believe fairies were their guardians, but then they split the sky open and opened portals so that the fae came and visited at twilight. Ooh, don't make me go and read that book. I will. You don't have to tell me twice. Her people called them angels. They'd kneel and pray for them to stay close. But when they got close, they weren't angels. Gotcha. They're demons, come to exploit, steal babies, use humans as slaves. You know, the good stuff. Breeding stock, blah, blah, blah. They tricked thousands into signing over their lives to fight in their wars. And only when the magical 7 of Elora, the 7 most powerful mages from this world, came together, did we guard the portals against them. Now they can take a human life only if it's fairly purchased or freely given. Okay. Well, now I know that there are mages and fae. Sick. But is Bree, as we're calling her now, is Bree a mage or fae? Or is she just a human? Oh my gosh. I actually did gasp. Tea. This is tea. Oh my gosh. She says, there are more important things in life than money. Even more important things than freedom. Like taking care of your 2 little girls and not abandoning them so you can run off with your fairy lover. Oh my gosh. That is actual tea. Wow. Now I know why she doesn't like the fae. Now we've got a description of Jazz, Bree's little sister. 3 years younger than her, and it's giving Prim and Katniss in a good way. I'm all for it. All soft beauty like her cheerful personality. I'm all hard angles and stubborn will. But make it redhead. Okay, 2 things. 1, Queen Arya Stark. Oh, how does this book know that I'm about to read the 2nd book soon? Anyway, the second thing is, she's giving humans safe passage to Faerie to attend the celebration at her castle. No. Why would anyone do that? Pass. Hard pass. This is so fast-paced. Literally the next page, she wants to find a human bride for her son. Okay, I would actually do that. I would be there. I love this book. You don't know this because I didn't tell you about it, but in chapter 1 we had a mention of Sebastian and how Bree could look at him doing anything and be satisfied. And we've had our first mention of Sebastian's broad frame filling the doorway. Ooh. Already, her heart pounds a little faster, my blood runs a little hotter, and longing clenches my stomach in its fist. What? I don't get that sentence. Her stomach has a fist? Oh, longing has a fist. Got it. Okay, cool. You know he's a love interest when he's over 6 feet tall. So Sebastian is a mage's apprentice and can do little bits of magic. And he has gleaming white hair that he keeps tied back and eyes like the raging sea. So I need to adjust what I thought he would look like. I don't know why I thought he'd be like a brown-haired man with like green eyes. I don't know. I had some thoughts. And then literally at the bottom of this page, you find out why Jazz wanted to go to the fairy ball, because she's hoping to find their mother, which makes sense because the mom ran off with a fairy lord, and she's like, if she was in love with a noble, the nobles have to go to the balls, bing bam boom, she'll be at the ball. So I get it. I get where she's coming from. Jazz, I like the optimism. So Bree was not feeling it when it was all about the mom, but when you start to mention treasure and an impossible ground to search, she's like, I'm in. And she even acknowledges that she finds the thrill of that more satisfying than finding her mother. You know, I can't blame her. I really can't. Oh, you know, she is gonna go to the ball now. Also, Sebastian gave her a little forehead kiss, so she's wide awake.
Honestly, I'm kind of digging Sebastian. I kind of don't mind if, like, I almost swallowed my uvula. I kind of don't mind him as a love interest. Like, the white hair is a little creepy. It's a little founding father, but I don't mind it. I'm kind of like, Mr. Fae guy is going to have to try really hard to beat Sebastian. That's all I'm going to say.
I take it back. This man does not have game. She's wearing like a brown muslin cloth, and he comes into the room and says, "You look really nice." The words come out strangled. Oh, little sweet thing. Come on. You have game. I believe it. It's in there somewhere. See, it's sentences like this that I just think are redundant. Like, we've already established that she's not like a little pretty princess. She doesn't like feelings. But then we have this little inner monologue saying, I'm not good at feelings. I'm good at working and doing. Like, come on. I am pretty sure everybody got that. It's been implied enough times. But who am I? Who am I? Oh my gosh. I was rooting for you.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for
Bree, I'm not that girl. Please. When you meet that fairy Prince Ronan, you're gonna be hopping up and down for him to pick you out of a lineup. Come on. Come on. Even I would be.
And just like that, call Liam Neeson because this girl has just been taken. Cassia, who stands with her hands on her hips and her chest proudly exposed to Sebastian and Bree, has basically said that Bakken just took Jocelyn to the fairy traders because their aunt has been like, okay, you've been too far behind on payments. I got to get something for your time here. So yeah, she's been snatched. And I did not expect that. So I don't know. Do I kind of like this? Like a lot? I don't know.
So I asked who Bakken was, and like the next page I found out that Bakken is Aunt Viv's house goblin. And that's who took Jazz to wherever she went. And then I found out that he sold her, or I guess Aunt Viv, he was just the middleman. Aunt Viv sold Jazz to, please hold, what is this man's name? His Highness, King Mortius. And I thought, maybe he's one of the Seelie people. No, he's an unseelie king. So they're the bad guys. The Seelie are good, and the unseelie are bad. So, yeah, we'll see what happens to her. This is getting more and more interesting as we speak. No, thank you. Love you, Sebastian, but I don't need to know that he has powerful thighs. Yeah. So we've had some more lore
be brought up. So, okay, let's see if I can get this all straight, because a lot got thrown at us. There's a lot of info dumping right now. But back in, the House Goblin said that the lore with Mortius is that he sits on the throne of the Unseelie court after having taken it from his brother. So his nephew is the rightful heir, and, or Prince Finian, son of King Oberon, which, I know that name. I know Oberon. That is A Midsummer Night's Dream. I did a ballet that was based off of A Midsummer Night's Dream. It was fun. I was a fairy, so it's cute that I'm reading fairy books now. But basically, some people have pledged their loyalty to the actual king of Unseelie. And so a lot of people don't believe that the land is going to flourish with, what's-his-face, Mortius on the throne. So for some reason, Mortius wants Jazz for something. I don't know the plan because I haven't read it yet, but I'm intrigued on why Jazz is so necessary to the plot. Like, I don't get it. Like, does something to have something to do with the mom, maybe? Mayhaps. I don't know. And so now Bree has learned from Bakken that she has to go to the way to go and get to Unseelie is through the Seelie Queen's wardrobe, Narnia style. So because the Golden Queen story was, or the Golden Princess story that was told like a little bit earlier in the story, was based off of the Seelie Queen being in love with King Oberon. Why that matters, I don't know yet. But she has a portal to his house for a quick booty call, I presume. And so, after all of that, Bakken gives Bree a silver bracelet thing, a goblin bracelet. So if she breaks one of the threads, he'll come and help her for, you know, the measly price of some more hair or a tooth. And now we're just watching Sebastian and Bree like say goodbye. And he has something to tell her, something about his past. So, oh my gosh, everyone's being so dramatic. And I can't for the life of me guess what is so special about him. Because off the top of my head, he seems like a regular guy with powerful thighs. Okay, so I read about 6% more since last night. And here's the thing. I still don't hate it. So this is promising. Have we had the dreaded usage of the term males? Yes, we have. About thrice since I first saw it. So that wasn't great. But I will say that, I mean, it's not doing anything terribly. And honestly, I kind of like it more than ACOTAR, which is good. We have some like crazy stuff where, what's her face? Bree, okay, so she went through a portal to get to faerie, or faerie as some people call it. And what happened after that? Then, oh, she was in line to meet the prince, get into the castle in general. And this girl was like, hey, sister, you need some help. Because she was wearing this ratty, like, red dress. Like, Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red dress, you know. And so she, like, uses her makeup, does her up. And then she has these magic pins that if she pins the fabric together, it makes it turn into a ball gown. And then says, if you want to return to your normal rattiness to move around and be able to, you know, slink about, then all you gotta do is undo the pin and you'll turn back into you. And then we have a scene where homie, and by homie I mean Bree, goes and, also this woman's name is Preetha. And clearly she's not just like some girl that was helping. But anyway, then we're at the ball, we're dancing. Oh, a male who honestly can get it. He seemed hot. He asked Bree to dance, and he had these silver eyes, which I need to note, because I didn't remember this before. Don't trust a fairy with silver eyes. It's a no-no. But he has the silver eyes. And he asked her to dance, and he goes, so beautiful. And then what's-her-face has the audacity to say, did he mean the music, the setting, or me? Like, come on, girl. Stop being that way. You are cute. And then she ends up dancing too much. You know, if you go to faerie, which this is like a rule in every fairy book, if you go to faerie, don't listen to the music. It can make you dance for hours on end. And also don't drink the the wine. Don't drink any liquid you get there. And so then what happens? Like a lot has happened since we've gotten to this point. She falls through a wall. I don't know how, and apparently has invisibility powers. So this is the thing. She's like, does my skill for blending in the normal world become an actual ability to disappear in this one? I have that question too, because I don't think it should be that way, but whatever. So she's invisible, and then she goes and she searches for the wardrobe. She's found the wardrobe now, she thinks, and what's-his-face has followed her. So that's where we are so far. And we've had a pickup line happen. I'll show you. If you wanted to pose as one of Arya's handmaids, you should have at least bothered to learn what color she dresses in. Or to know that she'd never take on a handmaiden more beautiful than she is. Pat, I'll take pickup lines for 100. What? Disgusting. Why must every fairy book do this? Why? I have to hand it to Miss Ryan. She is writing to her audience very well. She understands the assignment, as the kids would say. There's a lot that's happened. Like, she writes very fast paced. Like, you have one scene and then boom, we have the next scene and something else happened. We have another plot development. So what the heck has actually happened, you may ask? I don't know. Okay, so first of all, we have had the addition of the Cruel Prince aspect of this book, because it's supposed to be ACOTAR plus the Cruel Prince, and I was like, okay, I see the ACOTAR, I see it, like, she's right there, but I don't know where the Cruel Prince part is going to come in, and it did, because we had Mortius. Basically the entire thing was a setup, gotcha, to test Abriella to see if she could go undetected, and who knew? She can. So she is a great thief, and he wants her to steal some artifacts from the Seelie Queen. One of those things being a magic mirror. Mirror on the wall. And so that's the reason why he kidnapped her sister, so that she would feel the need to come and rescue her and bargain. And a lot of stuff happened in that little meeting, such as, honey, I have a lot of highlights. So he sent her to this room that basically, in my mind, so there's no windows or doors, and just four stone walls, stone floor, and blinding light that seems to pour from the ceiling. So in my mind, she's in a room that has Walmart lighting. Because you guys know what that is. Like, why is it that whenever you go into Walmart, it's like, there's two things. One, there are no beautiful people. We're all ugly there. And two, it gives you a migraine. So that's where I imagined her to be. And then she has a dream, and in it, that racially ambiguous man from the ball comes to her in it, and she's like, why did I dream about him? It's like, he's your love interest, duh. And I'm like, is he the prince? Because he's not supposed to be the prince. He has silver eyes. So I'm wondering if he's Prince Ronan in disguise. That'd be really sick and ill if he was. Then we have a very, like, on-the-nose thing, like, basically summing up what we're supposed to be doing. And basically it says, so she goes and says, I've reconsidered, because she's had her stay in her little jail, her Walmart jail. And she says that in her inner monologue, pretend I want to marry the prince so I can infiltrate the castle, steal a few magical fairy artifacts, and free my sister. And she says, I can do this. Sick. And then we have a bunch of mentions of her, like, her nickname, which is Fire Girl, which I really can't stand. So those are the instances of, there's so much good plot stuff happening that I'm willing to overlook some of the writing, but not all of the writing, because literally after that, we have, not literally, I hate when people use that word and it's not literal. After that, she goes back to, a goblin takes her back to the Seelie court, and she's back trying to, like, win the hand of the prince. And while she's there, she sees none other than Mr. Sebastian the Crab. And I now know that I made this prediction before, but I had predicted that Sebastian was actually Fae. And lo and behold, he's Fae. But I want to show you some really bad examples of writing. Like, look at this. So before
we had, before we had come into the Seelie court, Mr. Sebastian had given us an amulet. And the author says this before, but the amulet, like, hangs right between her bosom. And so then it says it again, right here, the amulet that hangs between my breasts. Okay, fine. And then it says it again, the feel of the cool crystal between my breasts. We get it. But also, earlier in the book, it says her non-existent breasts. So does she have breasts or not? And then my guess for Sebastian's eyes was vindicated because apparently he has sea green eyes. So at least that was, a little bit of it was like, okay, my picture of him was correct. And then literally on the same page, your glamour is flawless. If I didn't know you, I wouldn't doubt that you belong here. And he flinches at this because you know what? He's fae.
So I really wish that I could just sit here and read this, but I do have to go and go to work. So I guess I should do that. But just know that I'm having fun. Even if I even if I talk about a couple of things that are that could have been edited out, I'm still enjoying it. So
Wait, no. Is Sebastian the prince? No, I'm so confused. Why does he have power? He just made a flower bloom, and he's like, she's like, you never talked about your family, and she should have asked more questions. He was raised in privilege and power. What is he? He has to be the prince, right? Like, is his name Ronan Sebastian, and he just goes by his middle name? Homie. He the prince. I was right. Can't fool me. Okay, I get that you don't like fairies, but that's a little dramatic.
Oh, Nelly. Okay, so more tea. So the mysterious fae male, excuse me, with the silvery eyes is none other than the Prince of Unseelie, the rightful heir to the throne. So this is, oh my gosh, this love triangle just got really, really royal. So she's caught between two royal men. Lucky girl. Also, his name is Finian, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's okay because we just call him Finn. So it's like, we'll take it. It just doesn't go with his bad boy persona that I kind of put together in my head. You know, the curls, the dark skin, the silver eyes. He doesn't look like a Finian to me. Okay, with the way things are going, I think the more accurate comparison for this book, putting two books together to make a book, is not ACOTAR and the Cruel Prince, but the Cruel Prince and the Selection series. Yep, I think it's the Selection because, so we've had, we talked with Mortius's nephew, Finian, and what's her face? Bree used her little shadow powers, which we don't know why she has them yet. She used her little shadow powers to disappear out of the tavern they were in. She runs off, gets attacked by a Barghast or something like that. It was a weird name. The Barghast chews her up and poisons her. She sees some wolves too. And then Sebastian comes onto the scene and helps her, heals her with his little fae magic, and then rushes her to the palace, where he's like, please go home, I'll look for your sister. But she's like, no. And he's like, fine, but the only way you can stay is if you compete to be my bride. And so that's where I'm pulling in the Selection, scenario. I think it's more like that. Like, the Cruel Prince has the fae aspect and the undercover bit, and then the Selection has the bachelor, the fantasy bachelor bit. So that's where I'm going with this. And still, I'm on board because I love the Selection. The trash that it was, I have a video talking about it because it's great. It's great trash. Reality TV.
Well, that's a little personal.
So a lot of little mini plot things have happened. I'm at almost 50% in. And the most notable thing is that we keep having mentions of Bree having been in a fire and dreams of a fire. And people are like, don't show your scar. And Sebastian has to veil the scar for her because she can't show it
don't show it at all. And we've just now gotten like I guess the reason why, basically, apparently she died in the fire. And then Preetha's daughter, who just like comes into the story at some point, named Lark, is like, I see dead people. Like, you know, being a seer, what seers do. And she's like, next time she dies, it has to be during a bonding ceremony. Otherwise, she'll never be queen. And that's interesting. Interessant. And yeah, so besides that, nothing really has happened. We had like a little training montage where Finn basically says that Bree isn't trying to use her powers. And then, Sebastian and what's her face, Bree, have had like some conversations about bonds and how if she were to become queen, you're supposed to take a bond, and so then after you have children, the human fae takes the ceremony to become like actual fae. And she's like, I can never do that, so it could never be. We can't be together. So that happened. And then, sorry, y'all, I'm all stuffy because like I guess allergies are back. Who knew? And what else happened? She got what's his face, Sebastian, to retrieve the mirror. So she has the mirror, she swapped it out, and we're just waiting for the goblin to come and get it. So that's what happened. I'm still enjoying it. It's like not a bad time, honestly. And I'm not even low-key like volleying for Sebastian. Like I actually want him to be the girl. I want him to be the guy that Bree chooses. Because I don't like Finn at all, not in the slightest. What's kind of crazy about this book is that we've had apparently 6 girls be sent home. This is like the selection, but like this is like if you were reading a fantasy book with The Bachelor on in the background, because we have met absolutely none of these chicky poos that want to marry Sebastian. I don't care that we haven't met him, but it's still funny that we haven't. Yeah. Good morning. I only have about 20% left in this book. Oh yeah, it's the next morning. And I have some guesses to make, some educated guesses. So, what did I last say? I don't even remember. We were just like flip-flopping between Finn and Sebastian. But basically, Sebastian finds out that Bree Cheese has been cohorting with Finn because remember that amulet that he gave her? It's not an amulet of protection. It's an amulet of tracking. So he's tracking her and he's like, you've been hanging out with Finn. Why? And she's like, he's been teaching me how to use my powers, because she's got to say something. And then they have like a really hot and heavy petting scene, which is cute and all, but like, I can't get over the fact that this author is really trying to drive home the comparisons between these two guys and Tamlin and Rhys from ACOTAR. I can't get it out of my mind. And if Miss Ryan makes Sebastian into Tamlin, I will rage. I'll ask for my non-existent money back. It's gonna be really, really bad if that happens. But basically, they have their heavy petting session. Then Sebastian leaves because he really wants to get some kind of confirmation that Bree will marry him. But she's like, no, I can't. No, I can't do that. And so he goes and says, fine, I'm going to go kiss another lady. So Bree goes and sees that Sebastian is kissing another lady. And because of this, oh my gosh, I look like Pippi Longstocking. Because of this, she ends up going to dance the night away, and in the process drinks some fairy wine, gets drugged, starts to take her clothes off, and gets saved by Preetha and Finn. And then there's like this scene between Finn and Bree in the shower that's not particularly sexy, but it happened. And then then we find out after the fact, when Bree gives back in the goblin another hunk of her hair, which at this rate she's gonna be bald, and there will be no more fire red hair to speak of. But he tells her about this side plot where the Seelie queen and the unseelie fae can't heal because of a curse, and we get told this curse, and the curse is
that long ago, King Oberon, when he was meeting up with the Seelie Queen, Queen Arya, they at some point they meet up in the mortal realm, but at some point her parents stop her, and so King Oberon is in the mortal realm just by himself, and he falls in love with a mortal, and then Queen Arya gets jealous and ends up cursing all of these unseelie fae so that they can't heal. But then she also ends up stopping the war for some reason, but that's not a good thing apparently. And the only reason I say this is because the unseelie king falls in love with a human girl. And you know who I think that human girl was? Bree's mama. That is the human girl. And another thing that I want to speculate and that I want to bring forward to the jury is that I think that, wouldn't it be so funny? Wouldn't it be so Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, if King Oberon and Bree's mama ended up having a kid, and that kid was Bree. So that means that Bree would be Finn's half-sister. That'd be so funny. I doubt that that's what's going to happen, but if it does, I might give this book 5 stars. It would be so unhinged and funny. Like, not in a ha-ha way, because, you know, incest. But, I don't know. We'll see. What in the ACOTAR was that ending? I was reading that while I was on my walking pad, and I was so like, oh my gosh, this is going one way, I'm so happy, and then at the very last second, I was not very happy. So how do I debrief this? I feel like I missed a couple steps here. So Bree, she was supposed to go and find the Grimoricum. I believe that's what it was called. Basically the book of like whatever that's tied to the queen's magic and her life force. And so they go off to like the sea palace, and her and Sebastian, and she grabs the book, gives the book to King Mortius, and goes, and he says that you just need to give me the Oberon's crown. That's the last thing. And then I'll send your sister back to Fairscape. And he's like, you have to find it. She's like, where is it? And he's like, look in the mirror. She looks in the mirror. She's already seen this before, mind you. There's been like one inference where she saw the crown on her head, but she was like, nah. But the crown is on her head because unfortunately she is not Finn's half-sister. That would have been way too convenient. She is, okay, so when King Oberon was in Human Land, he was with her mom. They didn't have any children, but they fell in love. So then her mom meets a mortal man. They have 2 kids. They get into a fire. And Jazz gets saved, but Bree's life hangs in the balance. And so she asks King Oberon to save her life because if you love me, you'll help my daughter. So in doing that, he had to give her his crown somehow. I don't know why. But so she has his crown permanently. And the Feylands can't flourish while the crown is atop a mortal's head. Ergo, she needs to give the crown to Mortius. And then Mortius wants her to bind herself to him so that he can have the power. But in doing that, if she gets bound to an unseelie, she will die. So he says, drink the potion of life, bing bam boom, you'll be good. But she has a little loophole and says that if all of the relics are put back in their place, then he has to send Jazz home. So she goes, loophole, I have all these things here, and I'm gonna sit on the throne so that I have fulfilled my end of the bargain. So then she ends up killing him because he's like, you tricked me. And she has an adamant sword given to her by Sebastian, and then gives him the old shank with a shiv. And he dies. She goes back to, this is after, I forgot this. This was after her finding out that Finn has to drain human mortal lives to stay powerful. So she's like, you lied to me. Everyone's lying to me except for Sebastian. Foreshadowing. And so then she ends up going back to Sebastian, and she thinks that all is well. He ends up going back with her to see her sister Jazz. Jazz is safe in the mortal realm with her friend Nick. And then they say they love each other. Also, there was a sex scene between them that happened, but that was before she killed Mortius. And then she has a little meeting with Finn. She's like, you lied to me, bye. Boy, bye. And so Sebastian and Abriella end up completing the binding ceremony. I don't know why. At this point, I forget why she allowed herself to be bound, but she did. And in this binding ceremony, she ends up feeling a little faint. She's like, she realizes she's dying, so she has to take the potion of life. And she's like, Sebastian, why'd you have that potion just ready, sitting there for me to drink? And he's like, meh, meh, meh. And he's like, don't worry about it, sweetie, don't worry about it. And so at the, then Finn appears to her in a dream while she's dying, or while she's coming back to life, being a fae. So she gets changed into fae. And he says, basically that this could only happen if you were bound to somebody who was Seelie. Then you find out that, lo and behold, Prince Ronan Sebastian is actually King Oberon's son. So Finn and Sebastian are half siblings. What? What the hell? So she's been duped, and now she's bound to Sebastian, can feel him wherever she goes, and she is the queen. She's gonna be the queen of something. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really mad that happened, because that's very, like I say, what in the A Court of Thorns and Roses, because what in the Court of Thorns and Roses, that was such an SJ Mass ending. It just was. I'm really mad. I will rage. I'm confused as to whether or not we are going to have a thing with Finn. I don't even know if I'm going to read the sequel, mind you. I might. If this video gets enough likes, I might. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll read the sequel. It won't get 100 likes. I do have to say that I was entertained. I was entertained. This might be a romantasy that I can get behind, because it does that thing where, like, there's a curse and a riddle and loopholes, which is fine, but it also does that thing where it talks about how the girl is nothing special, even though she's clearly attractive, and she has this unruly, fiery red hair. The mentions of her red hair, abundant. They run rampant. And also the fact that this author uses the word broad in terms of, like, a male's, like, bigness. I don't know. She uses that word like 11 times throughout this novel, which is unconscionable. It should be weaned. She should not be able to use that word in the next book. But even saying all those things, it was entertaining. It was fast-paced. It was enthralling. It had me on the edge of my seat, wanting my ship to pan out. Because at the end of it all, I'm still that little teenager that just wants my favorite guy to win. That's all I want. And did he win? I'm not sure. I don't think anyone should win at this point. I think that Brie Cheese should just end up alone. I think she should kill both the guys. That's what I think. So, yeah. I think that was this book. Let me know if you liked the video. Subscribe if you want more content, and I'll do this again with another video. And let me know, who were you rooting for? Finn or Sebastian? Okay. Bye.